there are certain rules that govern what you can and can't do as far as eligibility for sports in Alabama. There's rules regarding transfers, stuff like that, to prevent people from just gathering together all the best football players, baseball players, even girls volleyball players, to make like a ringer team to win state. Coaches try, but there's generally rules, like, or there used to be. Things may be different now, but it used to be if you transferred schools out of your district, you had to sit out a year eligibility, unless there were extenuating circumstances. And there were a couple guys I knew. One guy I went to elementary school with growing up, he didn't follow us to the middle school we went to. His parents sent him the private school route. He went there. He decided another middle school had the better baseball team, so he transferred. He didn't have to sit out in the eligibility, so they must have found a way around it. Well, that middle school didn't quite cut it, so he wanted a school with an even better baseball team, so he transferred yet again. He was happy there. He even went back to our middle school for a minute, which was funny. He was there for a day, and then he transferred again because he's like, nah, I don't want to be on this shitty baseball team. I want to be on a good one. And his parents were just okay with this. Like, they were just like, yeah, sure, transfer to wherever you want. We'll go through the trouble of pretending to move. So when he was at his fourth school, he finally saw there was another team in the county that was the best baseball team, period. They were winning state titles. They were the best. They had people going to SEC schools. So he finally transferred there for good. It worked out for him because he played college baseball, but I couldn't believe his parents were just cool with this. Because I always compare people to my dad. My dad, he would have been, if I talked him into letting me transfer, it would have been the deal of, well, once you do it, that's it. There's no transferring back or switching schools again. It would have been unheard of, because there were a couple guys at our school that they transferred for literally a day to the school with the best baseball team that guy went to. That guy, Adam, is his name. And then they transferred back when they realized they'd have to sit out a semester a year of eligibility, and they couldn't have that. So they came right back. But anyway, my point is that there was a guy I knew named Tim. Played golf with him, liked him. He's a good fella and a good golfer. And enjoyed spending time with him. He went to another school in the county. But he ended up befriending another guy I knew named TJ. And they got to talking, and they're like, hey, you should transfer to my school where TJ went, and we can have this great golf team. Well, there were rules back then that were took pretty serious. You had to sit out a year of eligibility to transfer schools. And there were ways around it. I've heard of ways, but this is what his parents did. He was the only child. And you could transfer schools if there were extenuating circumstances. Well, the extenuating circumstances, his parents got a divorce. And still lived together so that people could transfer schools, so he could do it. His old school was not unhappy to see him go. He was a great player, but he'd gotten a reputation as a cheater, and I can safely say, yeah, he kind of cheated some. Because at golf, if you're playing with somebody that doesn't know the rules, you can kind of do whatever, because they don't know, or they just don't care. Now, you get with the rules stickler, they're not going to put up with that crazy shit. But he would kind of do stuff like, in golf, you mark behind the ball on the green. Well, he'd mark in front of it and then put his ball back in front of it. If you're quick, no one will really notice. There's even PGA Tour players that do it. But so, had a little bit of a lousy reputation. But still a great guy. Liked him. It's just, it seemed like his parents kind of gave him free reign. Like, they were friends with him, I guess you could say, and that's not exactly a good way to be. And anyway, he played for them, and then during the golf season of, I want to say it was his junior year, he skipped too much school and got caught and wrote a fake excuse, and they kicked him out and sent him to alternative school. And he's like, whatever, I'll just play my senior year. And this is what happened. Start of his senior year, the second day, he drove a Jeep and he parked in the parking lot and left his lights on. He probably has lived to regret that, because somebody noticed his lights were on, and they sent somebody out there to check whose car it was. Well, they looked in to see what the tag number was, and they saw cigarettes and a lighter in the front seat. Well, they were going to write him up for possession of tobacco, and they went into his car, and under the visor they found weed. Well, he was just looking at ISS, or maybe even a slap on the wrist, because it was early in the school year. But they found drugs, and this is long before they decriminalized weed, they changed anything. So they were going to take him to jail. And Tim got to jail, and they found ecstasy in his wallet, which is a felony. So Tim never went back to school. So his parents went through all that trouble and rigmarole to get him on the team for him to just screw around and ruin it. So that, because he probably could have played college golf, he was good enough. Not saying he would have been a Justin Thomas, but he could have done something. It goes to show you, your parents go to all that trouble for you, and that happens. Because the other guy, Adam, that did all the transferring, he played college baseball, but then dropped out, I guess, because they wouldn't let him transfer schools every 5 minutes.